Hello everyone, welcome back to Defense Politics Asia. And yes, we are going to cover NATO and Ukraine war, the headlines. So the first headline I'm going to cover is Ukraine has lowered its conscription age to 25 years old. And this goes from the previous number at 27 years old. So they have lowered the conscription age for mobilization. And this new law come into force on Wednesday, which is within the past 24 hours, signed by Zelensky, the Ukrainian president. So this is interesting because the parliament itself, the Verkhovna Rada, have actually passed this law last year. However, Zelensky did not sign it into law. So basically, they passed the legislation, but it was never signed into law for a certain reason. It's not so clear why Zelensky, resisted signing. Maybe he really didn't want to destroy Ukraine. Maybe. And however, according to Oksana Zabolotna, analyst with the Center of United Actions, a government watchdog in Kiev, which I'm surprised there's still a watchdog in Kiev. To be honest, what a dangerous job to do. She says that there's 500,000 men between the age of 25 to 27. However, based on the people that are unfit, some has left the country, some are already in the reserve, or they have rights to deferment. The likelihood that this law can only achieve 10% of the goal of achieving 500,000 more troops, which is only 50,000, which is rather low. I think she underestimated it. Maybe she included the problems that may come with recruitment. Trying to mobilize these troops may not be easy, because they need to hunt for them. And so basically, it is still a step forward towards lowering the conscription age, which is what the West has been asking for, particularly talking about United States. They really wanted Ukraine to drop down the conscription age. And currently, the average age for the Ukrainian soldiers is around 40 years old. Although, interestingly, they also say that like those on the Russian side is also around 40. So, yeah. So, I'm not sure about the Russian side one, but Ukrainian one I can believe. Interesting. So the next frontline change, not frontline change. Do too much sit rep. So the defense minister of France actually hold a phone talk with the Russian defense minister Shoigu. So Sebastian Lecornu has called Shoigu. This is the first phone call that they have had since October 2022. They have not talked for a long time. They finally talk. I wonder what's the reason. So I tell you the official reason first. They say that France is ready to face down terrorism, and they are prepared to increase exchanges in the aim of fighting this terrorism threat as effectively as possible. However, they deny that they have any information that the Moscow terror attack has anything to do with Ukraine. France say that they do not have any information that there's any link to Ukraine, and they tell Russia to stop linking it to Ukraine. Stop all instrumentalization of the attack. So and the French defense minister also take the opportunity to condemn Russia again for the war of aggression on Ukraine, and then he insisted that the France will continue to support Ukraine as long and as intensely as necessary in its fight for freedom and sovereignty to bring peace and security to the European continent. Yeah. And so very interesting. They finally have the chance to talk, and the first thing they do is to talk down the Russians. Very good diplomacy. Then what's the point of talking? If this official announcement is true, then this entire phone call is totally unnecessary. It's totally nonsense. I'm quite sure this is not the phone call. This sure is not the phone call. I believe that the phone call is probably to talk about the potential deployment of French troops into Ukraine, and probably he's trying to ask for guarantees from Russia not to strike the French troops. And they are probably trying to talk about some certain end games and trying to negotiate the future of Ukraine. Whatever all these official statements just sounds ridiculous. Like, you haven't been able to talk to Russia for so long, and the first thing you do is to criticize them. It can't be true. They can't be so stupid. They can't be so stupid. So, in other French news, the French have plan to double their Caesar hot whistle, the artillery, this lorry or truck looking artillery with a scorpion tail. They're going to double the production. So for the first time, the French actually revealed that they actually produce 6 a month. They produce 6 a month. Now they say that this number was never said publicly. Now they're going to increase the production to 12 a month. Good job. So I'm not sure what 12 a month can do, but definitely they need this in their own military, because the French themselves have hardly any artillery left. Like, that is real. So that's the real problem. They have to produce for themselves first. And Le Cournot, again, the same defense minister, basically told the reporters after a meeting with the Secretary of State Antony Blinken of United States in Paris. So so this is I'm not sure what kind of news I should interpret this as, because producing 12 artilleries, I'm not sure if they're going to give it to Ukraine. Because if France really want to go or to prepare war against Russia, the French don't have much artillery right now, so they need it for themselves. So let's see how this goes. And one of the biggest news in Ukraine right now is actually Finland signing a 10-year security agreement with Ukraine. So in this agreement, the Finnish president Alexander Stubb actually went to Kiev and signed this thingy with Zelensky. And so in this agreement, they said that it's aimed to bolster security cooperation and offer sustained support to Ukraine. So including political backing, which is free, defense and security enhancement, which is increasing or whatever they had right now, I guess, and reconstruction efforts, which is nothing to do with the situation right now, which affirms Finland's long-term dedication to aiding Ukrainian resistance, blah, 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 blah. This is like just bullshit. Okay, so on top of that, they also Finland also announced the 23rd package of defense material to Ukraine, valued at 188 million euros, which is not a lot, which is actually quite little. And I'm not sure what exactly they have given to Zelensky or Ukraine in terms of the 188 million. But in terms of this 10-year agreement, like I said, most of the thing doesn't sound like anything. Political backing is nonsensical. Reconstruction efforts is also nonsensical. This is the war. They can't reconstruct to victory. This is not a thing. So defense and security enhancement is probably the only thing, but enhancement is a very vague word. So let's see how this progress, what exactly it is. So Zelensky also, after the signing of the agreement with Finland, has announced that they have a phone call with the newly appointed Prime Minister of Portugal, Luis Montenegro, and basically congratulated him and reminds him that he need to sign an agreement with Ukraine as well, similar to those at Finland. And basically trying to brainwash him into having a principled stance in supporting of Ukraine, and wish him a fruitful work for prosperity of Portugal. So clearly, if Portugal support Ukraine and give money to Ukraine, then they are not going to have prosperity of Portugal. So we're going to see how this develop. But this is interesting news. And NATO has a very big meeting between the foreign ministers in Brussels, and so in their meeting they talk about how to increase their support, some firmer and more enduring support for Ukraine. So the allies have agreed on the need to support Ukraine in this critical moment, and they have agreed to move forward with planning for a greater NATO role in coordinating security assistance and training. So it's only security assistance and training. Security assistance is also a very vague word. So the details will take shape in the weeks to come, and in the weeks to come, probably Ukraine will start to lose a few more settlements. But clearly, Ukraine is very big, so it's not a big rush for NATO for sure, because NATO should beat the Russian military, in a conventional war. I think so. Whatever it is, so there's some big words being thrown around. So Mr. Jens Stoltenberg, the Secretary General of NATO, says that the Ukrainians has shown that they are capable of defending their country with skill and bravery, because they recaptured half of the territory that Russia initially has captured, and pushed back the Black Sea Fleet, as well as continuing the export of grain to the world markets. I have to debunk him for a little bit. Half of the territory, most of it is Russia retreat on their own, because they just feel like they can't hold those grounds without huge losses, so there's no point to hold it, because that's not their strategic aim, and so they give up. So yeah, but technically it is true, Ukraine have taken back a lot of territory. Is it half? Yeah, maybe. I'm not too sure if it's half. And then the Black Sea Fleet, yes, that is true. They managed to push the Russian fleet away from Ukraine. However, the continued export of grain to the world markets is not true. It's purely mainly because Russia didn't want to blockade the Black Sea, and of course Ukraine is exporting through the ground routes, through trains and trucks, which then caused a lot of protests all across Europe, and most of this grain export is not to the world but to Europe. So yeah, there's a few of these very nice words there. So he said that Ukrainians are not running out of courage but running out of ammunition. So now they are trying to ensure that their support is built to last, and it's really weird. It makes it sound like this war is going to last for 100 years, and they are trying to figure out how to fund and support a war that can last indefinitely. Because based on the languages used, it just sounds really weird, very weird. So. And then the foreign minister of Ukraine actually reacts to the NATO's 5-year 100 billion plan. So apparently during that foreign minister meeting, they kind of proposed to create a plan for 100 billion over 5 years for Ukraine. However, Kuleba, the foreign minister of Ukraine, says that he welcomed the support, but please be new funds, and not repurpose prior commitments, which is kind of funny because Ukraine NATO's or EU's games always make the number sound very big because they just repurpose previous announcements and make the number sounds inflated. So he says that please make sure that this is a new 100 billion for this particular initiative to become reality. So it's kind of funny because Ukraine become very defensive about it. And finally, the Kuleba also says that he's going to pester all the Western countries for Patriots, and he says that there is insufficient Patriot surface-to-air missile systems being provided to Ukraine, despite there's more than 100 Patriots in service in the West. They say that they need around 5 to 7 more Patriot systems, but the partners are unwilling to share them despite having more than 100 in their disposal. So he's very pissed off and he said that, is it such a big problem? Is it not feasible to provide Ukraine with the minimum request? So he's convinced that this is just a matter of political will. And he says that it's not clear to him why the allies have so far not provided additional Patriots, given that they do not face missile threats that Ukraine faces every day. So it's very, very provocative. So this foreign minister basically don't play games, and he's totally have zero respect for the West. Despite his politeness still seems to filled with spikes and taunts. And yeah, but he makes a good point. The number of Patriot air defense system given to Ukraine is ridiculously low. And like they're given like 3, 2, then after that 5. Like just drop 50 Patriots into Ukraine, and then Ukraine can stop losing aircrafts. So and then they can really test out the Kinzhaus, whether the Kinzhaus really work. So but yeah, this is also a very interesting question, why NATO has not given Ukraine more Patriot systems. Is it because of training problems? Because maybe the Patriot systems need specialized training, and they are unwilling to provide the Patriots because they need too much time and resources to train the Ukrainians to operate the Patriots. And who knows, the previous Patriots was actually operated by NATO personnel, and they are all dead because of the Russian counter-strikes on Patriot systems. So we do not know what's the real situation when it comes to talking about Patriots, because I personally do not know how much training it takes to operate Patriots. I'm not aware, or I haven't spoke to any air defense people before regarding how difficult it is to train air defense specialists. So anyway, this is what it is. You guys who have experience, do comment in the comments below. Let me know. Share your knowledge so that everyone can learn, and hopefully, of course, other people get to read. If not, then I will read. Don't worry, and I'll try to read as much as I can. And yeah, together, we will win. Win more subscribers, and not Ukraine. No, I'm not pro Ukraine. Anyway, and I'm also not pro Russia, by the way. So do check out the DPA Telegram, DPA forum. Do subscribe, press the like button. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe, support, especially if you want me to continue to report on headlines like this format. Let me know in the comments as well. Of course, subscribe and like is very important, but comment also help me get a sensing, do you like this kind of content? And yeah, thank you for watching. Yeah, Europe. I'll see you guys in the next update.